Hello and welcome to Larissa's Kitchen. Today we're going to be making one of America's favorite foods, pizza. And since very few of us have an actual pizza oven in our kitchen, this is a recipe that I've tweaked, modified, and perfected over the past quarter century to be made in a mere mortal's oven. We're not going to be using any specialty ingredients or odd cooking techniques. In fact, this is the kind of pizza that if somebody said, "Hey, let's go grab a pizza," you envision. To make this pizza, we need to get started on the dough first because the dough does need to rise. Now, each recipe of pizza dough makes two 16-inch thin crust pizzas. I make 2 of these recipes of dough for pizzas because my family loves pizza and they love leftover pizza even better. So, let's get started on the ingredients. Okay, I've got 3 cups of all-purpose flour in the largest work bowl of this food processor. I've also got it fitted with the dough blade. That's the blade that's all plastic and the knives don't actually extend all the way to the edge. To this we're going to be adding about 1 teaspoon of kosher salt. Now I've got 1 1/8 cups of warm water, somewhere between 100 and 115 degrees. We'll be adding 2 tablespoons of granulated sugar and 1 tablespoon of instant yeast. Now this would be 1 packet. We're also going to be pouring about 3 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil on top of this and mixing it all together. Of course, the cat is optional. Okay, we need to let this yeast bloom in this warm water until it's very foamy, probably about 3 or 4 minutes. Alright, I've also got 2 large mixing bowls. This is what we're going to let the dough rise in. Both of these need to be coated with just a little bit of cooking spray. Alright, we're getting ready to mix this dough together. Now I like to use the food processor to make pizza dough because it's so much quicker and simpler. Now I'm going to pour this in all at once with the food processor running. My food processor has 2 settings, low and high. Low is the perfect setting for this. If yours just has 1 setting, on is perfect. So let's get started. Okay, that was about 1.5 minutes, and that's all it took. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and get this out on a dry surface. We're going to knead it into a ball and get it into our bowl to rise. Alright, we're going to shape it into a ball. In this bowl, we're going to grease both sides. Okay, on to the next recipe of dough. Alright, we get this shaped into a ball. Okay, this one goes in the bowl. It gets greased on both sides. Okay, we're going to let these rise until they double, about 45 minutes. Alright, the problem with the oven back there is it just cannot reach the temperatures of a pizza oven. We're also not going to be cooking directly on the hot surface, so we need to get around these problems with just a little bit of ingenuity and know-how. First, we're going to use pizza pans that have holes in them. That way the heat from the oven can cook the bottom of the crust directly. We're also going to pre-bake these crusts before we even put any toppings on. That way we can set the top of the crust so that it doesn't get gluey from the pizza sauce and the other toppings. In order to shape these crusts, we're not going to hand toss or hand stretch the dough. We're going to do it the easy way, with the robber clobber, also known as a baker's pin. So, how are we going to top these pies? We're going to use 8 ounces of pizza sauce, and you may recognize this from a few episodes ago. This is just a double batch. I'm also going to be using 8 ounces of mozzarella cheese plus 2 ounces of a pepper jack Jarlsberg mix. Now, I have tried several different amounts of cheeses on all the different pizzas that I've made, and I've come to realize that you need to use less than 12 ounces of cheese per pizza. Otherwise, the crust just does not cook properly. Okay, For the last few minutes while we're letting this dough rise, I've got the oven preheating to 425 degrees. Now right now, I don't have the convection oven on. Once we put the toppings on, we'll switch over to the convection oven. Okay, you can see this has risen to double. So we're going to go ahead and turn this out and knead it down to redistribute the air pockets, and then we're going to go ahead and cut it in half. All right, we'll get this into a ball and then we're going to roll it out. All right, pizza crust is fairly dense, so we're not going to have to worry about putting any flour down for this. All right, we're just going to ease this into the pizza pan and then stretch it to shape. All right, to minimize bubbling, we're going to go ahead and dock this crust with this fancy pastry docking tool, which also happens to double as a fork. All right, these crusts all have to be cooked individually. We can't cook two at a time. They're going in this 425 degree oven for 6 minutes. Okay, we're changing from crusts to pizzas. So we're going to go ahead and turn the speed bake on, and we're going to cook these for 11 minutes. Now these are cheese pizzas. If we had toppings on them, we would cook them for 12 or potentially even 13 minutes. Okay, I know you want to eat this right now, but it is so hot. It's 425 degrees. We could barely cut it at this point. So we're going to wait to cut and taste this until after the next pizza comes out. All right, this pizza is sufficiently cooled so we can now give it a taste. Now I've got a couple of pieces here with just a little buffalo wing sauce on here. Perfect. I bet Alton Brown doesn't have to do his own dishes.